Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, August 19th, 2019. I'm Jonathan Van Kloot. I'm going to take a look at the markets with you in just a second. Real quick before I do, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like technical analysis and trading and all this kind of stuff. And give me a thumbs up on the video if you find this one interesting or useful. And make sure you throw any comments down in the box below. Let me know you're here, if you're actually here live, or let me know what you find useful or what you would like me to do differently, if there's anything else I can do to help you in your trading. All right, that's it. Let's jump in. And the S&P is probably confounding a lot of people right about now, because we had this nice, big, clean push down to form a nice wave A. Then we had a nice retracement right to 61.8, 50% 61.8 right in there, which formed a nice wave B. And then we did not get a nice clear wave C. That didn't happen. And so a lot of people are saying, aha, that's it. This was the end. And now we're heading higher and the bull is back and everything is looking good. And maybe that's correct. The problem is, right now, we are in the middle of nowhere. We are sideways. We are, in fact, you can see it really well in the 60-minute. We're basically stuck right between this range. And we do not have a continuing pattern of lower low, lower high, lower low. We don't have that. But also, starting from this as the low, we don't have a higher high, a higher low, and a higher high. So it is really unclear right now. This market has got to get above, actually the high is right there. It's got to get above either this high to have any continuation to the upside, or it's got to get below this low to have continuation to the downside. But here's the thing that really truly concerns me. This whole thing here looks incredibly familiar. Does anybody remember this? Does this seem at all familiar to anyone? Like, say, if we were to jump back to the end of 2018, for example, this looks an awful lot like that. And it's the same kind of thing. We had a really nice push down, and then a nice push up, and then this one actually did head lower, but then we had the sideways. All right, and then we got stuck in this range for a while, and then there was a lot more downside to come. I am concerned that we've got the same type of thing happening here, that we've got the push down, and now we'll have a little sideways action, and then we may have a big push down to come. I don't think that is out of the realm of possibility. So be prepared for that. Trade very cautiously at these levels, because right now the market is a pretty treacherous place. I've been recommending this. I'll probably keep recommending it for a little while. If you're trading currently in the markets and you're not used to this kind of volatility, you're not comfortable with these kinds of range days, trade smaller position sizes if you're trading shares. Go to a micro contract if you're trading futures, or trade fewer contract sizes if you're trading E-mini or whatever, and you're used to trading 5 or 10 contracts. Maybe trade one or two, something like that. So just, you can always control your risk by scaling your position size down. So just keep that in mind. Right now, it looks like overnight and since yesterday, Sunday, the bulls are really wanting to push this higher. They're trying to push this market up, but it's very gradual. And notice that as we get closer to this top, which has already been a double top, and maybe it'll be a triple top, we've got oscillator, slightly lower, slightly lower. The oscillator's a little bit lower each time. So that concerns me. I don't see strength really accelerating in here. I see momentum kind of slowing down. We've even got, you can see that it's dipping here as price is moving higher. So we've got a little bit of a divergence on the 60-minute. I don't know that this has really got a whole lot of strength on this move. So I don't necessarily trust this. I don't feel like this is a good time to jump in and go long. I don't really feel like it's a great time to jump in and go short either. It's just sort of in an indecision state and needs to make up its mind. Like I said before, it needs to either break this high or come down and break this low, one or the other. So be very cautious, because we've got a sell zone up here. You can see it very clearly on the 60-minute right in this area. So just be very cautious. Give the market some time this morning to see what it wants to do. Does it want to push higher and actually do so on some momentum and break higher, or is it going to give up and come back down? I mean, keep in mind on the daily, everything is still bearish. We've got the oscillator below the zero line. MACD's trying to cross, but everything else is bearish, bearish, bearish. And we're nearing a short-term sell zone. 13 is below the 50. Price is below the 50. It's just a very treacherous area right now. So trade very, very cautiously. RTY looking pretty much the same. It's doing very much the same kind of thing. We're sort of trapped in the sideways range here. Now, up to date, RTY has kind of been the weaker of the indices. So I'm sort of looking if there's going to be downside ahead for the broader markets. I'm kind of thinking the RTY may telegraph that first. So watch for that on the 60-minute. Whoops, let's try that again. On the 60-minute, here we go. You can see we've got a number of resistance areas coming up right overhead. We've got this area here, we've got this area here, then of course we got a big one up here. So there's a lot of resistance overhead that RTY is going to have to get over in order to have any kind of real momentum to the upside. And much like ES, oscillator kind of draining momentum as price continues to push higher. So I don't really trust this push up for a whole lot longer. We'll have to wait and see. If it can break over these highs, then the next major target is up here. So then there might be something. But just trade very cautiously. Just like with the ES, trade very carefully at these levels. Reduce your position sizes if need be, but be careful. All right, crude oil is trying to continue its little rebound climb here after a bit of a pullback. It got kind of whacked back down again and then climbed right back up. So this buy zone is again holding as a buy zone, and price is wanting to head higher. So at the moment, we are still in a pattern of higher highs and higher lows. Now we need to break the previous higher high in order to confirm that there is still upside ahead. So that is what I'm watching for. We did have a very nice divergence here. You can see how much higher that oscillator was at this ending of wave C, daily wave 5. And now it's just looking for upside ahead. So this looks to me like a wave 1, a wave 2, and now we're looking for wave 3 up. So we need to see, does this low hold? As long as that low holds, then we have upside ahead. If this low breaks, then it just simply needs to stay above this low to still be a valid wave 2. So just keep that in mind. But right this instant, kind of sideways, just sort of trapped kind of in around this area. And we need to see it break through, break out with some momentum. Right now, the momentum has been quite low. There hasn't been a whole heck of a lot for the last couple of sessions. So just trade tight and make sure you know where your stops need to be if you are planning to take a trade, and look for hopefully some follow through to the upside, because right now that is what the signs are pointing to, but we don't have confirmation yet. We got to get, like, say, the 13 over the 50. Ideally, of course, price action is my ultimate indicator, so price action breaking this high here to confirm upside. And you'll see this, of course, happen on the 60-minute first, and we have already had the 13 EMA break above the 50 SMA, so that's a good sign. And it pulled back down. You can see where price pulled down to the 50 and held and bounced. So it's looking good. The first early hints are that this market wants to hold up and wants to head higher. Momentum is shifting to the bull side and is staying above the zero line. So it's looking like the market wants to head higher. But just have a good stop placement in case you're wrong. Gold. Good old gold. Had a hard time here. Not surprisingly, it got right up into the sell zone, ended its wave 5, and butted its head for a bit, and now has come back down. This is, I think, going to depend a lot on what happens with the broader market, because recently they have been very much in sync as far as being opposites goes. And they have been working counter each other. They have been counter correlated, and right now that means when broader markets go up, gold comes down. Broader markets come down, gold goes up. So if there is downside ahead for the broader markets, then I would expect to see gold pop back up again. Maybe this 13 EMA is going to be a nice support zone, something like that, like it has been this whole ride. Maybe there is upside ahead. We'll have to wait and see. Right now, the MACD line trying to cross below the zero line as a first kind of hint that they're trying to pull it back. But, I mean, look at the momentum on the oscillator overall. Right now, the bulls are very much still in control. But You can see on the 60-minute, they're trying to shift. I mean, it was all bull all the time back here, and then we had little peak below, bigger peak below, bigger peak below, and right now that's where we are. So the momentum is trying to shift to the downside. So perhaps we are going to see some more upside in the broader markets and some more downside for gold. If in fact this wave 5 is done here, then a correction would be expected, and I would think that would take us to somewhere in the neighborhood of, let me just clear this up a little bit. Retracement, there we go, somewhere in the neighborhood, right around here. So we're looking for a pullback to someplace in this range. So 1400-ish would be a nice area to see it pull back to, and then see about picking up steam for the next push upwards. So just pay attention to your shorter time frames right now for gold. It's looking like it wants to come down, but until it breaks this low, we are not confirmed. So that's what's got to happen for gold to be confirmed to the downside. Right now, anyway, that is a support area. So still grinding, just bouncing around in this channel. It did go from very near the bottom of the channel to very near the top of the channel. So that was a pretty straightforward trade to be had there. 60-minute bull candle. But all that did was bring out the sellers, and they just drove the price back down again. So, that brought it up to kind of the top of that zone there, the top of that channel, but was not able to hold that and continue higher. So don't just jump in blindly, but be prepared. Watch for it to, say, break out of this channel with some strength, with some momentum, pull back and test it and hold, and then want to head higher. That's going to be a good indicator that the bear run is done and the bulls are taking the charge. And I think we could see a pretty significant push upwards, because natural gas has never, ever been down at these levels, at least not as far back as the data set that I have access to goes with TradeStation. So this is a good opportunity for natural gas to possibly start a big new bull market sometime in the maybe near future, but we don't know exactly when. So just be cautious. Don't just jump in blindly. Be prepared. All right, Bitcoin is trying to march higher again. We had a deep correction here from the wave 0 to the 1 to the 2. And what I believe this is a 3-1, a 3-2, and now we're heading into 3-3. We can break this to the upside, then yeah, I'm expecting a significant push higher in Bitcoin. So be prepared for that. But we don't have confirmation yet, of course. But we definitely are in higher highs and higher lows. There's our low, there's a higher low, there's a higher low, etc. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Now we got to get a higher high to keep this going. So it does not look like Bitcoin is done yet. It looks like the up move is still intact. We've still got a bullish trend going on, and everything has been following the Elliott wave rules quite nicely. So I'm expecting that to continue. Just watch for your 60-minute to show you the way. And right now, the way is higher highs and higher lows. So there's your trend line. There's your direction. Trade accordingly if you are into Bitcoin. Just be very cautious because of how volatile it is. You need to be prepared to get the heck out of the way if it decides to play dirty and turn around on you. All right, that's it for this morning. Take another peek at the S&P. Nothing really going on this morning, so we'll just have to wait for the open, see what happens. I'm going to go get ready for the day ahead. I hope you have yourself a great day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you like this kind of stuff, give me a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed this or found it interesting or illuminating in any way. And I will be back to do this again on Wednesday morning. So until then, trade well, keep it green. Take care. Bye-bye.